We're working in a complex industry. It's hard working through distributors and dealers and making sure that we're getting our products sold and selected every time. But are we overcomplicating it? In my perspective, it's time to make it easier. Let's dig in. When we talk about how we can get our products sold more through our dealers and distributors and how we can make our products more top of mind with them and, get them picking our products and our brands over the other products that they're selling, a lot of people think there's some secret sauce, some tricks of the trade, some levers that we have to pull in order to get that moving. But really what we find is the brands that make it easy are the ones that are seeing the most success. And by that, I not only mean, talking about the products themselves, but is your brand easy to work with? Do you make it easy to solve problems and actually access the products themselves? A lot of this is what's influencing your dealers and distributors' decision to move your products forward. And of course, there are a lot of things that you can do to encourage that, whether it's incentives, relationship building. But really, when we talk to dealers and distributors about why they select certain products and why they promote certain products, it all comes down to that ease factor. The products that they have, that they can talk about, that they can easily show their customers, and that they know are going to deliver and answer their need. So what are some of the ways that you can make it easier for dealers and distributors to move your product forward? First, it's about building up your own brand. And I know that sounds kind of counterintuitive, but when you're able to create a brand that's recognizable in the industry, it really helps with those conversations and making it an easier sell. Especially if you've got enough recognizability and enough kind of clout or equity in your brand that people are actually asking for it. If they're coming to your dealers and distributors asking for these products, that's such a win-win. And as you're focusing on your brand and really focusing on how to communicate those features and benefits of your product, make sure you're making that easy as well. There's nothing worse than being caught up in explaining how a product works or, the benefits that it provides a customer and getting tripped up in that experience. By narrowing in on the features and benefits that matter to your customers, really simplifying that language and making it easy to communicate and move forward, you're really helping your dealers and distributors in the process. Essentially, what we want to avoid here is really having your dealers and distributors turn their customers away to go do their own research. They also want to be that go-to resource for their customers, so let's help them do that. There's nothing worse than creating materials that are not going to be used and not going to be helpful in the process. So having those conversations and, being able to give them quick, easy access to the things that they need is really going to make a difference. And remember, there is going to be a divide. You are going to have your really tech-savvy sellers and you're going to have your people who really appreciate those physical materials. Being able to cater to both and making sure that everything is easily accessible is what matters. Second is all about giving them the things. And when I say that, I don't mean all the things, because as marketers, we like to, get creative and give our dealers and distributors lots to work with. But it's about having the right things, the right materials, the right resources that are going to help them, again, talk about your product and move that forward. And let's not forget, there's a lot of power in conversation and actually asking your dealers and distributors what they want, what they need, and what they're going to use. We're in this digital age where a lot of us want to be sending customers online and using QR codes, and there's absolutely a time and place for that. But there's also a time and place for having still those physical elements and those pieces that are going to help in that moment. And making sure that we're listening to our dealers and distributors and listening to those that are selling our product and the materials that actually matter to them is what's going to help most. So for example, is that access to more samples, to better samples, to be able to, at the drop of a hat, be able to show what your product looks like, what it feels like, the density of it. Having that at their disposal is still a very valuable tool. And even talking to dealers, for example, that's usually what we hear is, all of this stuff is fantastic, but it's hard to send my customer somewhere to look at things, to learn about things. When I'm able to actually pull out those samples and be able to talk about them real time, that's what's most valuable for me. This can also apply to giving them the materials that they need to externally talk to their customers as well. For example, giving them social posts, giving them content that they can include in their website, their email campaigns, things that can help them better promote your products. So let's make sure that we're actually asking those questions, that we're listening to this audience when they tell us what are the tools that they need, what are the resources that they use most, and how can we deliver on that and make it easily accessible for them to do their job. And third, it's really about kind of taking it up a level and becoming a bit more of an educational resource for them. And what I mean by that is really teaching them about everything that they need to know about our product category, which I know is a big, lofty ask. We really want them moving our products forward and really want them focusing about our products as a whole. That's a given. But when you're able to give them more information and kind of arm them with what they need to sell these products in general, it really helps them in their job and again, helps to make it easier to move your product forward. You know, if you think about some of the newer products, some of the more technical or advanced products in the category, sometimes those are new areas for dealers and distributors where they may not have an established comfort zone. You know, we know that they've been working with certain products for a long time and they might know the category, how to spec these products, how to measure all of that. But if this is a different area that they're working with, maybe they need a little help. And this is where you can really step up and be that resource for them. You know, for example, say we're talking about smart home products. If we're able to step outside of our specific product and talking about the features and benefits and teach them how to sell in these products as a whole, what are the overall benefits? It helps them to answer the questions their customers are coming to them with and really helps them in their role as a whole. And that's really going to put you in a positive light and help when it comes to turning to your products as those solutions. So as we talked about, there's a lot that brands can be doing in this space when it comes to working with their dealers and distributors and getting their products sold more. They can be working with strengthening relationships. They can be incentivizing loyalty programs. There's a lot of little things out there. But when it comes to really seeing success, those brands that are able to make it easy to really simplify the process for this audience are going to be the ones that win. Thanks for listening.